Hey, is that the real Cabbage right there? Farming time. I'm getting ready to plus up all my units prepared for this 120. Let's see how far I can make it before I hit a plateau. Hey, is that the real Cabbage right there? Probably not. Imitation. Imitation Cabbage. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's Cabbage's global account. Nice. He doesn't auto click, he just plays it straight up. That's what I'm talking about. Leading the way. Earlier in the last match that we finished farming on, both mine and Cabbage's unit or character got paralyzed and we just stood there. I would like to have a full party, a whole lot easier, faster, but depending on what units we get, it's a lot easier with just 3 or just even 2. 2 calculators would do it. I think today I'm probably going to spend about 800 energy farming this right here. Just slowly stockpile, every few days. Just spend a little bit and just stockpile materials. We're just gonna see how long I can last until I make it, or until I run into a pit stop or a plateau out where I can't progress any further, and it's gonna take a whole lot more time. But fortunately, we have 6 weeks to finish off whatever we started, but that's not taking into account that we are probably going to have additional cards, espers, and units popping up along the way within the 6 weeks, and additional events, next story portions or what have you, just additional things to farm. Right, so like the books, they're ending soon. It's like another 5 days for all the books. I wish all the books were just always readily available to farm. That's the way it should be. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I should take the opportunity to max out all of Awu's cards. So the Typhoon Esper and a Typhoon Vision card, they're about 75%. Now that I got all that free gil, I should take advantage of that and just max it out. And I should probably invest in trying to get a +5 club for my Awu or for my calculators. I'm not using the +5, and you can see the difference. You got, in PvE and PvP, you can see a difference. See right there, I have one of those mobs survive by just like a sliver. Alright, so if I had a +5 weapon, that probably would have been avoided. I wouldn't have to take an extra turn on that. But so far, my Awu unit is my go-to farming unit, and I'm glad I invested. See, that ogre survived that. Shouldn't have, and so did that wolf. But I haven't seen a +5 for sale in the shop yet. Hopefully Gumi keeps that up and keeps giving us these +5s, because it's a lot easier to just buy it up than invest the time to farm it. Unless you're auto clicking, it takes a lot of time. So I'm getting ready to EX limit break my Una. I'm probably going to do that tonight, and probably this morning around like 4 in the morning I took my Rob and got all of his jobs to level 15. Originally I just maxed him out for his TMR for Keen Edge, Keen Blade, but I went ahead and maxed out his jobs to 15, and tonight I'm also going to attempt to EX 120 him, or at least EX limit break. So then I'll have 2 light units that are EX. Looking forward to see which other light unit I can use to EX. I think I can use Sleepy. She'll probably work, or for now Sakura. But I wanted an all light team, but I wanted one with a haste and quicken, so I might just go invest in finishing Phoebe and prepping her for the 120. Or you know what I can also use is I have my MR unit. What is my light MR unit? Not Israel. It's wow, complete brain fart. I love that unit too. The MR Time Age, a light unit with the mint color hair, tripping. But maybe I'll try that composition. But definitely Una and Rob is gonna be my setup. I haven't really put much into it yet. I've been busy with work and personal things, but I really want to get finished on this 120. Hey, look, it's just me and Cabbage now. See how long he sticks around. I can't imagine he has a lot of time to play, since he has a Whale JP account, and he also plays the Nier Automata gacha game, which this is the only game that I whale and cracking on. All my other mobile games I no longer spend on. I just free to play on everything now, and I just diverted all my extra money to this game. Just goes to show how much I feel invested in the game. I really want to support the game. I want it to continue and last a whole decade or more, because it wouldn't live up to its Final Fantasy name if it didn't, right? But I think it's more of a Brave XVS than it is a Final Fantasy. The nostalgia of this type of game, looks like Final Fantasy Tactics, is what really got us, thinking like, hey, this is Final Fantasy all the time. But really, it's not. Because we just have a few collaborations to make it seem that way. But I really do hope that this game continues into the next decade, because it's a game got a lot of potential. But it's not going to have that potential for longevity if the game is more focused on making money in short time periods than they do with producing content that's relatable for customers and players and all Final Fantasy fans, because the future is mobile gaming. Not everybody's going to stick around and play traditional role-playing games and tactics anymore. But this is the way to go if they get do more collabs with Final Fantasy Square Enix titles, and if the focus is not just to make money, the focus is to create memorable content, enjoyable content, and just establish that name, the names that to live up to the Final Fantasy titles. Right? So it's kind of like if you've been keeping up with the Final Fantasy 11 remake or revised version that they were trying to make on mobile, they contracted Nexon to make that Final Fantasy 11 game. Saw a couple pictures and it was, you know, it looked good, but if you look at all of Nexon games, you know, they don't really have the longevity and quality and the customer service that you would relate to a Final Fantasy game. You know, that's a title that when people say Final Fantasy, they know, okay, quality game, no matter what. Right? There can be bugs, there can be some things wrong with the game, but eventually it'll get worked on and you get fixed. And it's a long-running game. You know, the title, they're up to number 16, right? Not including the middle titles in between and the part 2s and the things like that, right? So I'm expecting Gumi to stick with this game and, you know, live up to the whole Final Fantasy title of it, right? Final Fantasy titles, they last a long time, right? People are still talking about Final Fantasy 1. People are still doing speed runs on Final Fantasy 1. People are always talking about the old Final Fantasy 7 and the new Final Fantasy 7. You know, in Final Fantasy 16, everybody's talking about that. You know, that it's never gonna end. It's just a long-running title. The franchise has built a name for itself, and you can't ruin it with you know, with a crazy gacha system. Well, there he goes, and that's all I really wanted to do was just play until he left.